Morita therapy. In the same decade that logotherapy came into being, a few years earlier, in fact, Shoma Morita created his own purpose centered therapy in Japan. It proved to be effective in the treatment of neurosis, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post traumatic stress. In addition to being a psychotherapist, Shoma Morita was a Zen Buddhist, and his therapy left a lasting spiritual mark on Japan. Many Western forms of therapy focus on controlling or modifying the patient's emotions. In the West, we tend to believe that what we think influences how we feel, which in turn influences how we act. In contrast, Morita therapy focuses on teaching patients to accept their emotions without trying to control them, since their feelings will change as a result of their actions. In addition to accepting the patient's emotions, Morita therapy seeks to create new emotions on the basis of actions. According to Morita, these emotions are learned through experience and repetition. Morita therapy is not meant to eliminate symptoms. Instead, it teaches us to accept our desires, anxieties, fears, and worries and let them go. As Morita writes in his book, the book called Morita Therapy and the True Nature of Anxiety Based Disorders. In feelings, it is best to be wealthy and generous. Morita explained the idea of letting go of negative feelings with the following fable. A donkey that is tied to a post by a rope will keep walking around the post in an attempt to free itself, only to become more immobilized and attached to the post. The same thing applies to the people who obsessive thinking who become more trapped in their own suffering when they try to escape from their fears and discomfort. Now, the Morita therapy has some basic principles. The first principle is accept your feelings. If we have obsessive thoughts, we should not try to control them or get rid of them. If we do, they become more intense. Regarding human emotions, the Zen master would say if we try to get rid of one wave with another, we end up with a infinite sea. We don't create our feelings, they simply come to us and we have to accept them. The trick is welcoming them. Morita likened emotions to the weather. We can't predict or control them, we can only observe them. To this point, he often quoted that Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Thich Nhat Hanh, who would say, "Hello, solitude, how are you today? Come sit with me and I'll care for you." Second principle, do what you should be doing. We shouldn't focus on eliminating symptoms because recovery will come on its own. We should focus instead on the present moment, and if we are suffering, on accepting that suffering. Above all, we should avoid intellectualizing the situation. The therapist's mission is to develop the patient's character so he or she can face any situation, and character is grounded in the things we do. Morita therapy does not offer its patients explanations, but rather allows them to learn from their actions and activities. It doesn't tell you how to meditate or how to keep a diary the way Western therapies do. It is up to the patient to make discoveries through experience. Third principle, Discover your life's purpose. We cannot control our emotions, but we can take charge of our actions every day. This is why we should have a clear sense of our purpose and always keep Morita's mantra in mind. What what do we need to be doing right now? What action should be taking? The key to achieving this is having dared to look inside yourself to find your ikigai.